Okay. Okay, Chicago. Okay, Chicago. You got your guy. You got your man, Ben Johnson, the hottest play caller in the NFL. If this doesn't work out for the Chicago Bears with the number one uh, selected quarterback in the draft, then they should not only sell the franchise, but probably move to a different city. Because if this doesn't work, nothing will. Nothing will, Chicago. But I think it is. I think it is going to work, Bears fans. Bears fans, I think you should be happy. I think you should be excited. It was a long, painful season. You've been down bad. This is the first thing to get optimism, to return to your football hearts. All right, you're getting Ben Johnson. It's the head coach you wanted. It's the only head coach you really, I think, wanted and believed could save your football team. This is a big loss for the Detroit Lions, obviously, but they've got such a solid foundation and base on their offense. I think the Lions will be okay. I know it stings to lose your coordinator to a division rival. That sucks. That that does suck. No getting around that. But uh I'm excited for the Bears. I think I'm excited for Caleb Williams too. I think like what we watched Ben Johnson do with the Lions, with Jared Goff and that offense, you have to believe if he's, allowed to get some of the pieces that they need to shore up that offensive line, that Caleb Williams, in terms of, pure talent, he's got more to offer than Jared Goff. And if Ben Johnson can get Jared Goff essentially playing better than Sean McVay had Jared Goff playing, then we are free to speculate that the ceiling for Caleb Williams is cathedral level. Like Caleb, we might be talking about Caleb as like a comeback player of the year next year. Not that he was hurt, but I think he could be that much better with Ben Johnson calling the plays. Obviously, that's being very optimistic, but I think Bears fans have earned the right to be excited about this hiring. But this was quick, The Lions lose this weekend, and the Bears did not wait to make this hiring. I think we thought the Raiders had a chance, right? Tom Brady gave the full court press. They say Brady was enamored with Ben Johnson, that Brady wooed Ben Johnson. But the Bears came in strong, ultimately getting probably top 3 play caller in the league. Some say the best play caller in the league to save their team, which their offense was just atrocious. This could be your savior. This could be your savior. Where was hold on. I got all these things favorited here. Here we go. Here's some data. Here's some information that you should be happy about, Chicago. Right? Ben Johnson, he's been with the Lions since Dan Campbell came in, right? He was the tight ends coach and then the passing game coordinator. And then he took over play calling for the offense in 2022, right? So you see they fourth in points scored, 5th, number 1 this season. They were insane on so many levels. But I think that's what you should expect for the Bears offense to be top 10 in a lot of offensive categories this year. Maybe top 5 in the following season, 2026. It's going to depend on their success on offense. I think it's going to depend a lot on how they build or, tweak that offensive line. You can have the best play caller, you can have a good quarterback, but if your line's bad, if you can't run the ball and the Lions can run the ball, it makes things more difficult. And now, if you're a Lions fan, the other thing you need to worry about is like, who's Ben Johnson going to take with him, right? Like which assistant coaches or position coaches, guys who are making an impact for the Lions offense right now, how many of those guys are going with Ben Johnson over to Chicago? I think this is nice. Ben Johnson busy assembling a star-studded coaching staff. The leading candidate to be his defensive coordinator is Dennis Allen. We know Dennis Allen. He is slated, I think, to just be a defensive coordinator for the rest of his professional career. So bring in a solid defensive coordinator. That would be a nice hire. Who does Ben Johnson bring in as his OC? You're looking at a guy who's going to have like a track record of being maybe like a quarterback coach, somebody who can develop Caleb Williams. Doesn't have to be a play caller because that's what Ben Johnson's going to do. And always like with these coordinators, right? Like the challenge, and I think in the first year, the challenge for somebody who's as talented as Johnson is calling plays, it's how does he learn and adapt to be a head coach? Because then you've got a whole bunch of other responsibilities you got to deal with. As you learn to manage and navigate being that guy, the leader of the organization, are you still able to deliver, on Sunday with an offense and the type of play calling that is, above the rest? And I think there's always a bit of a learning curve there. But the good thing is he's got a quarterback. And I'm telling you, the reason he doesn't go to the Raiders is they don't have a fucking quarterback right now, right? Like, he's got one of the more talented QBs in the league. Even with the Bears playing like shit, we saw Caleb's talent. We saw the flashes. We saw him, even within that losing streak, he wasn't throwing picks. Sure, he was holding onto the ball and taking sacks, but that's correctable. So, and a young wide receiver in Rome Odunze, plus a couple vets. Well, I don't know if Keenan Allen's going back there, right? Was it his just a 1-year deal? But this is big. I think this is big for the Bears. I like it. Where's the other thing I wanted to look at in here? Na-na-na. Na-na-na. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, here, all this info. This is all good. Smart. Big brain. 36 on your ACT. I got like a 19 on that shit. Yeah. And we saw there was that play in the Lions game where Goff pitches it to David Montgomery, and then Montgomery pitches it to Amon-Ra St. Brown, turned into a big gain for the Lions offense. There's creativity there. And the Bears offense felt stale, stagnant. Can he implement those types of plays? I don't know. It's going to be fun. Well, being relevant was fun while it lasted. Are you speaking as a Lions fan? I wouldn't be overly concerned as a Lions fan. Bear down, bear down. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. We are going to beat the Packers so hard. Feel like this all but confirms he checked out Saturday. No, he didn't check out. Dude, the Lions offense played pretty good outside of Goff's mistakes. Okay, Bears still suck. First Lions head coach with his own coaching tree. There you go. Dan Campbell creating his own coaching tree. That's an achievement as well. I think that the Lions might take a little bit of a step back. They're still going to be competitive. I'm back. How many will I ignore? I'm trying to get through thinking through what I want to say first. All right? That's incorrect. The chili mango is the best. Get out of here with that nonsense. Yeah, okay. Bears fans already at the airport waiting for Ben Johnson. Gotta respect that, Chicago. Yeah, Bears fans are amped right now, and you should be. I think this is the missing piece. This is the missing piece for Chicago. Like I said, I think Caleb will be drastically improved. But like this is going to be the Detroit Lions' biggest offseason since hiring Dan Campbell. They have two key positions to fill, assuming Aaron Glenn gets, a head coaching job as well. So they have to navigate this offseason carefully, and they have to make the right call to both replace Johnson and their defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. And now when we think about the prank call that Caleb Williams got, right? The prank call saying it was Ben Johnson and he had been hired as the Bears head coach. Well, at least that's just foreshadowing now. It came true. A prank call came true. That's another reason to be optimistic, Chicago. Look, the Bears got to find a dominant running back, or they just got to commit to the run game. That's also going to help Caleb. Ben Johnson will make sure that happens. And when the Bears do play the Lions, if Chicago wins, we can say now a Johnson has beat Goff. So there's always that. There's always that to consider. What is the Broncos' priority this offseason? We'll talk about that later, Juggernaut. A playmaker on offense, tight end, running back. One of those two. He can be Stilgar to... Oh, this is Dune. This is Dune. Okay. Anyway, great job, Chicago. I think people were starting to worry the Bears weren't going to get the coach that they wanted. We'll see how Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson function as a team. Because I think like if Ben Johnson is saying, Ryan Poles is not exactly who I want, not necessarily for this season, but for the following season, Poles is kind of in that hot seat department, right? So how they function as a GM and head coach moving forward will be interesting. I think the Dallas Cowboys too, right? Waiting too long to move on from Mike McCarthy. I think they could have been a player for Ben Johnson as well, but they're not even going to get to sniff that opportunity. So this is a big get for the Bears. Probably the most sought after head coach this cycle is Ben Johnson. And when you can land a guy like that for your offense, it is a good thing. Doesn't mean like defensive minded head coaches aren't viable solutions, but when your head coach is the offensive guy, you don't have to worry about losing your offensive coordinators if you start to get successful. Yes, Caleb is ready to receive his Johnson. As a Cowboys fan, I'm not surprised Ben Johnson isn't enough of a yes man for Jerry Jones. Good job, though, Chicago. Yeah, Jerry does like a yes man. That's a good point, Nick. NFC North is going to be bad next season. Playing versus the AFC North and the NFC East is much more difficult than destroying the AFC South and NFC West. We'll see. Every offseason shakes things up a little bit. But if this makes the Bears a competitive football team, then I don't know if like the NFC North is going to be worse, but the win-loss totals are going to be a little bit closer, right? A little bit more towards the middle. It won't be like 3 teams with a ton of wins and the Bears down at the bottom. The Bears should be in the mix, and I think it's a win for Chicago if they just don't finish last place in the division next year. Expectations have been set at rock bottom, so Ben Johnson just has to come in and raise those expectations above rock frickin' bottom. And yeah, the Colts get Lou Anarumo for their defensive coordinator. I think that's a solid hire for the Colts. I know Cincinnati wanted a change. There were some shortcomings on defense, but trying to decipher whether that was Lou's fault or personnel issues, or whatever, I think that's tricky. I think Lou's a good defensive coach, and I think the Colts defense will be better because of Lou. And sometimes you do just need a change for things to, work out. And hopefully, Cincy, you find a guy who elevates your defense. Yeah. Who the fuck is Perna? As Cam Newton famously said. But yeah, I would like Dennis Allen. I would like to see him with Chicago. And other than that, it's just guys to come in and develop. Josh McCown, right? Is Josh? What is he, the quarterback? Oh, Josh McCown's the quarterback's coach for the Vikings. Wonder if Josh is ready to be an OC. You know? Maybe Josh can get a promotion to OC. Does Ben Johnson go after Josh McCown to try to make him his OC? I don't know. That'd be interesting. How do I buy the Bears crypto coin? I don't know. They should have a meme coin out shortly. The Ben Johnson meme coin. Returning optimism to Chicago. Is there anything else here for Ben Johnson? Let's just take a look before I get out of here because I got to finish winners and losers. I didn't want to do this live. I wanted to keep editing right now. Let's see here. Just nothing but... yeah, Raiders thinking they were going to get Ben Johnson. Yeah, I've already seen all this shit. There's nothing new here. All right. There you go, Chicago. I think you're going to be good. Just please be good. I'm so used to disappointment. I don't expect anything different. I like the hire so far. Got to go for O-line and D-line in the offseason draft. And yeah, you got to expect that's one thing Ben Johnson learned with the Lions, right? The Lions built the foundation of their team the right way. They built their offensive line. Their defensive line was injured to shit, but they started on the offensive line. They built in the trenches from the middle out. And I think Ben will take that with him to Chicago. And there's a difference between knowing that's what you want to do and actually doing it. You got to draft correctly. If you're going to spend in free agency on an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, you cannot miss in those areas. And that's where you're looking to your personnel department, your GM, your scouts, that sort of thing. So those people will be incredibly important to helping Chicago get back on track. But the Bears are a team that's interesting where we think there's enough talent on that roster where they should be pretty good right away with Ben Johnson. They were supposed to be, competitive this season. It wasn't like we thought they had the worst roster in the league, like everybody was saying about the Broncos before the season. So they have some pieces there. Their roster's not destitute. So that's probably also factored in to Ben's decision. As a Lions fan, I'm crying in the club right now. I wish he would have went to the Raiders. Yeah, division rival's tough. That sucks. I remember when Mike McCoy went over to the Chargers, I was like, oh, this is going to suck. It was fine. We had Peyton Manning. It wasn't an issue. But it always scares you a little bit, for sure. Yes, Dan Campbell is technically from the Sean Payton tree. So Sean Payton, should we take a look at his coaching tree? All right. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here so I can finish winners and losers. Thanks for hopping in here with me, you guys. Good luck to you, Chicago. Good luck to you, Detroit. And we'll see what happens after this. They are acting like a real franchise. And yeah, you want to win? You deserve to win, Chicago. All right. See you guys later. Good night.